Attacking in Siege is very hard, which is why in today's video, I'll be giving you 25 tips so that you can attack better. The first tip of which being with Hibana. Now, if you're ever going against an electrified hatch that has wood around the actual hatch, you can get the Cade Claw off for absolutely free. All you have to do is shoot 2 Hibana pellets next to the hatch, just like that. Then, when you explode the Hibana pellets, the radius of that explosion will kill the Cade Claw, as you can see. Now the hatch isn't electrified. So if I switch to 4 Hibana pellets, I can put my Hibana pellets on the hatch, and now the hatch is open, and you didn't even need an EMP. Now that was just one out of 25 different tips that I'll be giving you in today's video. The second of which being for Buck. Now, if you're ever trying to get a wooden floor open, and you try to take vert on it like this, sometimes it just doesn't work. As you can see, the vert's pretty inconsistent, and a lot of this is still not even penetrated through. So here's a tip that'll help you out a lot. The metal beams always go opposite of the wooden floor. So as you can see, the wooden floor is going up and down. So I know the metal beams are going to go left to right. So now I know if I stand like this, it'll be much easier to get a consistent hole in the floor. Whereas if I went with the wood, it'd be a lot harder. And as you can see, I didn't even go through the floor all the way. So you always want to go against the grain of the wood to make more consistent vert. Now, if you thought that tip was insane, then you need to hear about this next tip for sneaking into barricades. When you break open a barricade, it's pretty loud. As you can see, it takes 3 hits, and any defender is going to know that you're coming. However, if they only hear 1 hit and a couple rounds of fire, they're not actually going to be expecting you to go in the door. That's why this next tip is so useful. If you want to be able to sneak through a barricade, all you have to do is hit it once like this. Then you can literally just shoot the rest of the barricade like this, and now you're able to just crouch through the barricade, and you only made 1 single melee sound, so they're not going to be expecting you to be on the other side, ADS, and shooting at them. It can catch a lot of your enemies off guard and by surprise and get you a lot of free kills in the process. Just like our next tip, which is about having cutoff drones. Having cutoff drones is super important because it essentially cuts off any defender rotations, hence the name cutoff drones. For example, if I'm playing Buck trying to Buck open kitchen floor like this to maybe get any kills on vert, I don't want to have to worry about anybody coming from bar, coming from bathroom, coming from top main, or bottom main. But if I just have a cutoff drone right here in bathroom, I don't have to worry about any of that because I can periodically get on this or have a teammate watch it, and now I know that nobody's flanking and I can play this for as long as I want to. It's essentially like having a 0 camera but on every single operator. You can do this with your prep phase drone as well if you want to save your prep phase drone, and you will get a lot of value out of it and make flanking as a defender almost completely useless. Not only can this get you a lot of kills, but so can refragging your teammates. Now, there's a pretty fine line between just baiting your teammates and purposefully refragging them. If you know that you have a teammate that's 0-2 that's trying to ash rush into the bomb site and you know his ass is just gonna die, you might as well be sitting right behind him. That way, if somebody kills him, you can at least swing the kid that killed him and get his refrag. Instead of just being down a teammate, now both teams are down and you're in a 4v4 instead of a 4v5. Not only does this go for people who are just running in the building and being idiots, but it can also go if you're trying to roam clear or just entry in general. If you're roam clearing, chances are you have people that are roaming, especially when people are running Boss G on Vigil. Being able to refrag is extremely important in case they need to reload their Boss G, and you can easily kill them off of it. The actual sound and visual of your teammate getting shot at is enough information for you to know exactly where they're shooting them from, and it doesn't really require you to have good aim to be able to refrag them in the first place. So if you and one other person are ever roam clearing, just try to be right next to that person as they're swinging so that you can bait and refrag them, making sure that you're not just down in man count for no reason. Another thing that can get your teammates just seemingly killed for no reason is not playing the right operators, which is why my 6th tip for attacking is flexing your operators based off of what your teammates are playing. Me personally, I don't really like to play support when I'm solo queuing because I just kind of like to frag out. It is what it is. But a lot of the times, so do my teammates. So I find myself, unfortunately, having to just play that Melusi or play that wall denial or play the hard breacher. As much as it is unfortunate that I can't play the playstyle that I want to, I'd rather win and have a hard breacher and get the bomb down than not win because I wanted to run into the building as a Monty or an Ash. So what I do most of the times is I will just sit and wait for my teammates to pick operators, and then I will pick an operator based off of what we don't have. If they picked a hard breacher and EMPs and flank watch, then maybe I'll actually be the one to entry. If they picked up the Ash, if they picked up the Yana, if they picked up the gridlock, maybe I'll be the one to play the ace. It doesn't matter, but just always making sure that you have one of every single necessary operator type will win you a lot of rounds. Just like my next tip, which is not swinging in a post-plant scenario. Now, I understand the mindset of trying to swing all the time on attack. You have to be the one to push the bomb site, so you have to be the one to be aggressive, and when you have Peeker's advantage on your side because you're playing an online game, it just makes sense to swing people for kills. But when you get that bomb down, you have to think of it sort of as now you're the defender defender and the enemy team is an attacker, because they have to come to you instead of you having to come to them. This is because there's only a certain amount of allotted time before they're not able to defuse again. It takes 7 seconds to defuse, so as long as you can delay as much time as needed to where there's less than 7 seconds left on the defuse time, you will win the post plant every single time, even if all of you die. So making sure that you're playing extremely passively and not swinging literally at all will make it to where you will win every single post plant. You can always hold crossfires with your teammates too, so that if your teammate ends up actually getting in a gunfight because he's just stupid, you're able to refrag him, which is something that I talked about earlier. But making sure you're playing extremely passively in post plant scenarios will win you attack rounds. Just like my next tip of always droning in to every single room that you want to go into. Number one mistake that I see most players making when I'm solo queuing or just playing ranked in general is that they don't drone in enough. A lot of the times they'll die to random people just ratting in corners, or they'll die to people that they just didn't have information on in general. If they had droned in before they rushed in, this wouldn't be an issue. Now, I do understand if you're an entry fragger, you shouldn't really be the one droning yourself in, but if you're in a solo queue environment or you're just playing ranked, you cannot trust your soft supports or hard supports to drone you in the first place, even though it's their job. So if you know that your teammates are unreliable, you can't really use them not doing their job as an excuse to not drone yourself in. Droning really does not take that much time, so there's really no excuse to do it as long as you're able to do it efficiently and make sure that you're droning every single corner to get all the necessary information. The only thing that comes after having to always drone is taking the gunfights, which can be a lot harder if you're not pushing the right areas, which is why my 9th tip is to push easier areas on the map. Well, what do I mean by this? Let's say that you're trying to attack CC Cash on Clubhouse. What most people will do is the default take. They'll open up the plat wall with an ace, they'll open up the bottom garage wall with some sort of hard breaching charge, and they'll run a Capitao or a Monty to take rafters. This allows them to be able to hold rafters and contest red stairs or contest people on the cash door so that you can go for an easy smoke plant behind the bomb. Pretty standard stuff. Here's the issue. This is the hardest way to attack this bomb site. The easiest way to attack this bomb site, especially if you're a solo queue ranked player, is actually to attack the backside. All you have to do is open up this wall and drone yourself into gym, bathroom, master, logi, and whatever it may be. You can have a flank cam, or in this case, because I'm playing ace, some claymores on your main stairs flank, and then you can open up this wall, even open up the bottom of the wall so you don't have to vault over it. You can contest red, you can contest red hall, you can even drone yourself into cash, and then once you're ready, you can go for the plant either on this wall here, which by the way isn't exposed to the red rotate, or come plant on this cash table right here or that cash table. It doesn't really matter, but pushing this is actually much easier than pushing the default take. So why do people like to push the default take more? That's because in Pro League, people like to push over here more because they're more coordinated. This is not Pro League though. A lot of the times you'll see people pushing random stuff just because it's the ranked meta, because the ranked meta is shaped by the Pro League meta. So you as a player should learn where the easiest parts to attack as a solo queue player are. We're talking construction for top floor. We're talking pushing lobby instead of square on top floor bank. Pushing solar on top floor of chalet instead of just pushing library side. A lot of the times, backside is easier to push than the front side, and you can win a lot more rounds because of it, especially if you're solo queue. Just like this next tip, which is for shield players. The biggest mistake that I see shield players making is just ADSing too much. If you ADS too much, people are just going to shoot you. Especially as Monty, when you're able to extend your shield, there's really no reason for you to be ADSing literally ever. If he tries to melee me or shoot me and I'm ADS'd, I'm going to die. But if I'm full shielded, it's not really going to do anything. He can melee me all he wants, he can shoot me all he wants. I can still kind of press him around in this corner and do whatever I want to him. The craziest part about it too is if he tries to melee me while I unshield, it will not actually make my shield go away. As you can see in 3, 2, 1. But normally, if he were to melee me with my shield like this, it would make my shield go away, right? So that's just a great hack as Monty. Instead of ADSing people, all you have to do is wait for them to melee you, and then you can unshield and melee them back. Let me try it one more time. 3, 2, 1. Just like that, and then you'd melee them back. And then now they're down. The only time you ever want to ADS people is if they're running away from you or they're doing something else and you can kill them for free. Not only are shields wildly understood by the vast majority of the player base, but so are this next secondary gadget, smoke grenades, which is why the next tip on this list is to stop saving your smoke grenades for a plant situation and use them to push and take space. One of the hardest places to push on Oregon is trying to take construction control on the basement. Smoke grenades make this completely easy for you. Again, your biggest issue when pushing here is that you have to worry about elbow and you have to worry about the head holes and you have to worry about the door. But if you use both of your smokes, you only have to worry about one, and taking a one-on-one gunfight is your best chance. So you can smoke off the head holes, you can smoke off the door, and now you don't have to worry about literally any of those things, and then you can rush into elbow and take it for free. Monty brings smoke grenades, which is by bringing a Monty on elbow is very, very easy to do pushes like this with, because it allows you to just take free space, as most smoke grenades that are well placed do. So again, stop saving your smoke grenades for a perfect plant scenario, because a lot of the times that's not even going to happen, and just use them to take space. I promise you, they are one of the most underrated attacker gadgets in the entire game. Speaking of plant scenarios though, one tip that I need to give you when trying to get the bomb down is to use loud gadgets to cover the sound of you planting. If you didn't know, planting makes a lot of noise. Putting it down makes noise, and typing all this makes noise too. Defenders can easily hear this, and based off of that, they can swing you. However, if you have a very loud gadget like Gridlock or Ram's Boogie or Ying Candelas, you can easily activate that gadget just like this, and now the plant is almost completely silent, especially to the defender's ears and not yours. And now you're easily able to get the bomb down, back out of the site before they even realize what's going on, and get angles to hold the bomb and kill people to win the round. Something else that can win you just as many rounds on the attack is pushing with your team. Now, one thing that I preach a ton on my YouTube and my stream is that if your teammates all are doing one thing, even if it's a dumb idea, doing their dumb idea with them is better than doing your smart idea alone. Playing off of your team, even if it's an idea that you don't think is good, will yield you better results than trying to get a wall open by yourself when you don't have anybody to help you get that wall open. That's why a lot of the times if I see that my team is rushing Blitz, Ash, Finka, and Lion, and I know they're all stacking dirt, I'm not gonna play Thermite and try to get a wall open. I'm gonna rush with them, or at least try to support them in a way that makes sense and enables their rush. Even if I think it is a stupid idea and it is not going to work, it is better to support something that is dumb than to do something by yourself that you think is smarter. So drop your ego and just push with your team every single round. I promise you it will get you more round wins. Something else that will get you more round wins that is team oriented is giving comms more. If you are playing ranked and you do not have a microphone, stop playing ranked. I don't know why you would try to play ranked without a microphone, but being able to call out enemies or receive call outs can be the difference between you getting a kill or winning a round. Genuinely, I have gotten so many of my teammates kills because I'm constantly giving comms as to where people are. I'm asking for comms, and because of that, not only do my teammates know where everybody is, but I know where everybody is. So I know where to position myself, what gunfights to take, what type of push they're gonna do, where they're going, what angles to hold, just because of the simple fact that I'm giving more comms. Giving more comms is single-handedly the biggest tip that I can give you in this entire video that will completely change your gameplay and make it so much easier for you to attack. Something else that can help you attack extremely good is saving your prep phase drones. Now, this excludes Deimos players because you need to red ping people in the prep phase, but for most players, don't run your prep phase building into the site just to spot some people. The great thing about solo queuing in ranked is chances are your dumb teammates are probably running their drones into the building as well, and if they're doing it, all you have to do is get on their drone instead and look at who they're going, and you don't have to waste your drone. You not wasting your drone gives you a second drone that you can use to roam clear, to drone in wherever you're pushing, to drone in people that are sitting in the site, whatever it may be. Having an extra drone is great. Even if it's just as simple as to burn in a Rooney gate, having an extra drone can be the difference between you getting a kill or not getting a kill, or dying to a random cav sitting in a corner that you never knew existed, or not dying to that cav Viera. So make sure that you are saving your prep phase drones unless you're making a cutoff camera, a flank camera, or you're a Deimos player. Now that example had a lot of exceptions, but this next tip has no exceptions, and that is when you're leaving spawn, check every single spawn peak. Cafe is a great example. There is a lot of spawn peaks no matter what spawn you go. I'm in River Docks, which arguably has the least amount of spawn peaks, and there's still 5 that I can name off the top of my head. The small bakery window, the 247 run out on that window or the other one, the emo double window, the main double door, the restaurant double window, and the hell run out. That was a lot more than just 5, but you get the idea. There's just a lot of spawn peaks. So making sure every single time that you are leaving spawn and checking all of them is crucial if you don't want to die immediately. I don't have to check the small bakery one, but I can check the window, just quick peek. Okay, no one's there. Quick peek this. Okay, no one's there. And then I can walk up, quick peek this. Okay, no one's here. And then I'm good. I can walk to wherever I want to go. Just making sure that you're checking those is really important because people are really able to hide spawn peaks well if they don't break the glass and they just break the barricade portion. Speaking of a small bakery window though, this is going to bring me into my next tip, which is to hold cutoffs. No, I don't mean cutoff drones. I mean physically holding cutoffs. Small bakery bakery is a great example of this, because typically people would push bakery to try to get the bakery wall open right here to get a plant down in kitchen. The biggest issue with this, however, is that people will flank often from this red hall. All you have to do is physically hold this cutoff as a player. Some people call it mailboxing, some people call it holding a cutoff. It doesn't matter, you get the idea. If I know people are pushing there, I can sit and hold here and make sure that nobody rotates here, and if they do, I'm going to kill them every single time. Not only can it be used for post-plant scenarios, plant scenarios, or things of that nature, but it can also be used in scenarios where you just know people commonly come through here. For example, if people are pushing top floor of cafe, I don't really need to watch the second floor from this window, but I can, because I know a lot of people will play pillar to contest the new hatch drop. So I can sit here and just wait, or sit here and wait. And if I'm not really needed, I don't really have any utility that's like really needed early round, I can kind of just sit here and wait, get a free kill, and then leave. And I do this a lot. A lot of pro teams do this. It's very crucial that you know when and where to do this, but don't do it too much, or else a lot of the times you're just going to be a sitting duck not doing anything. So you have to be really careful of that. Something else you have to be very careful of is how you are placing down your OSHA shields. For example, if I'm standing and I decide to place down my OSHA shield like this, when I'm done, I'm going to stand up. A lot of the times you will get your head blown off doing this. So instead, whenever you place an OSHA shield, you want to crouch. This way, when you're done deploying your OSHA shield, you will stay crouched, and there's absolutely zero risk for you getting your headshot every single time you deploy your OSHA shield. Most people probably already know this, but I figured I'd share it for any new players watching this video. A tip for my more advanced players is this tip with Deimos, and that is to immediately cancel your Deimos charge the second you activate it. So I'm going to activate it on the Caviera, just like this, and it's going to give me a ping after it says it's being targeted by Deimos. Once it's given that ping, I'm going to press the ability button again to immediately cancel it. Why do I want to immediately cancel it? That is because it's going to initially give me the ping on Cav, but it doesn't actually have enough time to give Cav the ping on where I am, because I just immediately canceled the ability. So if you're just trying to get information on the people's whereabouts and you're not really hard roam clearing them, trying to get that 1v1, this is a great way to do it, because you get info on them, you know exactly where they are, but if you cancel it immediately, they will have zero idea where you are. That's enough about fragging operators though. Let's give a tip about a supportish operator. Now, what most people don't know is that Capitao has EMP grenades now, meaning he is actually one of the best operators to help get a wall open in the entire game. Yes, sometimes even better than a Thatcher. Let's say I have a hard breacher that's trying to get the wall open with me. Let's just imagine for a second, right? And I know someone is bandit tricking this wall. What I can do is I can EMP one of the walls and then immediately throw a Capitao bolt on top of it like this. Because the fire falls, if he tries to bandit trick that, he's going to die to fire, and because I EMP'd it, my thermite can get it or my ace can get it as much as he wants to, and we will kill the bandit trigger. Now, most people know that playing below with Buck is the best vert operator, but what if I told you on some maps you can actually play below with Ram? Let's say that the site is top floor and I'm in archives. I can actually throw a RAM device on top of the file cabinet, and because of the radius of effect of this RAM gadget, it will actually get the floor above it when I do that. And because I have 3 of these things and there's 3 file cabinets, that allows me to get on the file cabinets with them a lot easier. And with visible throat trajectory in the game now, I just got Buck levels of vert with RAM for absolutely free, and now I get to have an R4C with an ACOG and smoke grenades as well. Now, we talked about a tip for Monty and Elbow earlier, so let me just go ahead and give you a tip for Blitz as well. My tip for Blitz is that your flash is not as far of a range as you think it is. For example, if I want to flash him from just 7 meters away, look at how little he's flashed for. Actually, I didn't flash him at all. I can't flash people from 7 meters away. You actually only really blind people when you're up to about 4 meters away, and even then, it doesn't last that long. As you can see, he's already completely unblinded right now. So the only time you ever want to be flashing on Blitz is when you are within melee distance. If you are within melee distance, you can blind. This will cause them to start knifing and shooting around. And when they do that and they're out of ammo and they're kind of tired, then you can go up to them and melee them and kill them every single time. Now, you might not have known that Blitz's flash really isn't that long of a range of a flash. One thing you might have also not known if you're a new player is that you can open up hatches with DMRs. On any other weapon, if you shoot a hatch, you won't even make a dent, and you'll just be wasting your ammo. But because DMRs have such a high caliber of a bullet, you can actually easily open them with just a few bullets. As you can see, I just completely opened a hatch. Speaking of opening hatches, one of the best tools to do this with is with a breach charge. But if I were to set out a breach charge just like that, and the hatch was soft, a lot of the times the defender's just gonna shoot their breach charge off the hatch, just like that. If you want to avoid this, all you have to do is put a breach charge in the corner of the hatch. If you put it in the corner, most of the time he's gonna shoot the hatch and completely miss the breach charge. And then you'll be able to open it and still get the hatch open if you wanted to. Oh, I whiffed. Oh, I whiffed. Oh, I whiffed. Now, the final tip for this video is with Nomad. One of my biggest tips with Nomad is to put your air jabs on the opposite side of where you want the enemy to be air jabbed. For example, if I want my enemy to be air jabbed all the way to the right here, instead of all the way to the left or all the way out front where he'd be covered by this metal sheet, then all I'd have to do is put the air jab on the left side of the window. As you can see, the air jab is there, so when I run out, I should go to the left. As you can see, I went to the left, and because I went to the left, I wasn't covered by this metal sheet, and people on the Master Balk could have killed me easily. If the Nomad ended up actually putting it at the top, like most Nomad players do, I would have been safe behind the metal rack, and I could have survived or at least taken out somebody with me. So make sure, as Nomad, you're very particular about where air jabs go so that you can get free kills. With that out of the way, my name is Alka. Check out this next video, and I hope we'll see you there. Later.